We saw euro actually with a little bit of sigh of relief because of what's going on in Italy. Could it all unravel? Could you see a lot more pressure on euro?
Well, I haven't seen the market for the last couple of minutes, but it was sort of already in the process of unraveling as far as I could tell. And our headline for the morning was, be careful in believing in this relief rally, because I don't see how the situation leads to any sort of immediate relief. The only thing it can lead to is a very sustained and long holding of the breath until we find out what's going to happen. If that's going to mean new elections and the polls start to show a strengthened vote, which is a potential, this could be a situation the populist parties leverage to actually increase their the popularity of their results. Then this is going to continue to weigh on the euro. So I really don't see a path to any sort of clearing up the situation at all, and I think it's going to continue to weigh on the euro.
So, John, just to make sure that all of our viewers and listeners are very clear, did you find it odd that actually euro had a sigh of relief when we found out that we could go fresh elections? Because if Italy does go to the polls in September, October, you're suggesting that actually we don't know which way it goes.
That's right. I mean, it makes some sense to see some immediate sense of relief. Here's the president stepping in his role and circumventing an appointment and circumventing the immediate prospects of this government coming into power right now, here and now. So there is some, after the very ugly Friday close, the knee-jerk reaction the opposite way. But I just think that any sort of sustained relief rally is not something we're going to see. And unfortunately for markets, I think we're going to see a very long period of uncertainty here.
What's your take on Spain? How much does that add to your uncertainty?
Not adding much. Of course, it's a set of circumstances we need to track. But I mean, Italy is by far multiples of anything going on in Spain right now. So it's very much dominating the market focus, and for good reasons at the moment.
John, I'm looking at spreads between Spanish and Italian 10-year yield. Do you look at Italy-Spain spread, or do you look at Italy and German Bund spreads?
Well, we track everything versus Germany, but of course, and the Italian situation has dragged spreads wider across the periphery, and even across into things like Hungarian spreads and what have you. So we track that, of course. I haven't started tracking very much the Spanish versus Italian, but that could become interesting if of course, the Spanish situation turns into something that creates a bit more of a widening there than has been the case for the Italian-German spread.
I'm looking at trade-weighted euro, which is one of my favorite charts, John. But overall, do you think that the situation in Italy can actually delay the ECB's normalization plan?
I think even before this Italian situation, we had very much the sense, the market beginning to question whether ECB normalization is something that can ever happen. Have we turned into a Japanization scenario? And I think the conclusion is going to be more or less, yes, we have. So this is just adding to the sense that ECB normalization is more or less off the radar for now.
What do you mean for now? So even you don't see a kind of scaling back on QE purchases and bond purchases in September or November? That seems to be pretty much priced in.
Well, scaling back on purchase is one thing, but the whole idea prior to that was the whole convergence idea that eventually the ECB is simply behind the curve. Eventually, they get towards rate normalization. A lot of that rate normalization has been taken out, and I also think that we're much lower probability, of course, on the degree to which the ECB will be able to wind down its QE purchases on that schedule.